Hi, my name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your number one source for real estate advice online. Before I forget, make sure you go to my website. It's at the bottom of this video. You can subscribe there, get some really cool offers, and a newsletter obviously filled with information that might be useful to you. And don't talk a lot about my private life on my videos, but I wanted to share something with you that might be useful to you maybe sometime in the future, that you can maybe apply to your business endeavors as well as personal endeavors. I guess you could say this will be my fluffy video of the day. I had the fortune to do a lot of introspective in the last year, because I was very blessed with peace and quiet around my home and my family. Unfortunately, peace and quiet is never guaranteed, so I always tell people when it's nice and peaceful and quiet, enjoy it, because it may not last. And I want to talk about that today. So I wasn't sure if I should share this, because I am under the belief that nobody really has the right to complain. Venting is something different, but I believe nobody really has the right to complain about their life unless they have taken all steps possible that are in their power to change their situation. I get very impatient and upset with people that are complaining to me constantly over and over again, when it's pretty obvious that there's several steps that they could take to make their situation better and easier, and they just don't do them. It's almost like they really enjoy complaining about things and don't really visualize themselves having a better, changed life and themselves doing the steps to change things. So my philosophy before I ever complain about anything or gripe about anything, especially not repeatedly, is looking at myself and going, okay, what is it that I can change with my situation right now? What do I have control over to change it right now to make things better for me, so this complaint or this issue is non-existent anymore, or at least a step to alleviate it in the near future. So I don't want to make this a gripe video or an upsetness video or anything, and I try to be pretty professional, private person, but I think sometimes it's necessary to share a little bit about your personal life, so that you guys out there on YouTube actually know that I'm a real person and I have real issues, and not everything is hunky-dory all the time. I don't know if a lot of you know, I'm a single mom of two, almost two teenagers anyways. Raised them by myself for pretty much the last 6 years, with very little support from their father, financial or otherwise. Actually, he's just been absent. For this last year, he was literally absent. We've really seen him maybe twice. The background of that story is he was mentally unstable. He's very ill. He's got a lot of alcoholism issues. I believe personally he's got a narcissistic personality disorder, and has just very hard time grappling and dealing with everyday life. So my question was always, how do I deal with that? How do I make this a better situation for me, for my kids? And for a while there I was trying to make the situation better for him, but that didn't work out. And he lives with another woman who's also an alcoholic, actually really close to my house, but we never see him. And I've discovered that there is sort of like a pattern to his appearances, and he's pretty much on a 4-month schedule. So I'll get a lot of trouble and a lot of grief for a little while, and then he goes away for 4 months. Then after 4 to 5 months, I'll see and hear from him again, and then we'll see him for about a month, and he goes away again. And pretty much try to shield the kids from all of that. But anyways, what I was talking about is that I kind of realized that there's a pattern to addiction and mental instability, and now I can kind of focus on how do I deal with these periods, and when will I have peace and when will I not have peace. And kind of just tried to go with the flow, just make it the easiest, best situation for my children. So my advantage, of course, over probably a lot of people, and certainly today's society, is the fact that as a young child, I was bullied a lot in elementary school, in middle school, not so much in high school, but definitely in elementary and middle school, which is kind of the same school for us in Germany anyways. But I was bullied, and very much bullied. I was from Russian ancestry in Western Germany at the time, and little kids say some hateful things when they pick them up from their parents. Of course, you know, Russia was one of the main aggressors of Germany. There was a war not too long ago when I was little, and there was still a lot of hate around. But what I've learned from that is actually that I learned how to stand up for myself and not take the bullying too serious, and take steps to alleviate it. I can tell you some stories about that. That's a different story, but what I was trying to say is I had a little bit of an advantage over a lot of people that go to these schools these days where it says, okay, no bullying or anything. We have anti-bullying policies. You actually also, avoiding exposure of kids to bullying, you kind of take away their ability to learn how to deal with it. And that's kind of unfortunate. So, but anyway, that's a whole nother discussion about education. That's not part of this video. All I was trying to say is that I had a little bit of advantage and knew how to stand up for myself. Thank goodness too, a lot of this came because of my mother, because of talks I've had with my mother over the past, and how we both jointly learned how to deal with people that are just assholes, basically. So anyways, after being absent for about a year out of our lives pretty much completely, all of a sudden I am served with a lawsuit, and I've been asked to modify visitation, and apparently this was explained to me by an attorney. These things go in stages. Apparently the father ran into something or a situation where he thought, you know, gotten enraged again because he saw somebody else's kids or something, decided he wants to see his. And instead of picking up the phone and saying, hey, can we arrange visitation, or even just showing up for the visitation that he already had, he decided to go to court instead after being absent for a solid 6 months at that time. And he wanted to have the kids overnight. So so I had to deal with that for the last couple months. I put a lot of strain on my professional life here, so that's why I've been kind of slow with producing books and YouTube videos. But in my professional life and in my real life, the one recommendation that I can give to you guys, that something I learned, is the fact that it's never too late. It does never hurt to pick up the phone and try to communicate with somebody. Be it via email or with a phone or in person or text messaging. Heck, just write them a regular snail mail letter too if you have to. But most all disagreements I've ever had with my tenants, with my landlords, with my guests, with contractors, with neighbors, 99.9% of those have been resolved by me just making an effort to get them resolved and approaching the other party to talk it through. Not everything got resolved that way, and some issues still remain, but this is the most effective way, the most efficient way, and the cheapest way to deal with things. And you have to sometimes just step over your own ego to get this accomplished, because the other party may have enraged you so much that you just can't do it anymore. And I'll never fail to try to reach out to anybody that has an issue with anything I do, including my ex-husband. I do understand that a lot of people are out there that have a lot of envy. There are a lot of hate for themselves. Greed maybe is part of it. Shame, most certainly. Shame is part of it. An upsetness that they failed in their life and just don't want to see anybody else succeed. I have made I've met all of you guys here, right here on YouTube, over the last couple years, and made such great friends. I'm really, really thankful for. But that would have never happened if I had just sat and sold in my own sorrows, basically. So I'm thankful for all you. I'm thankful for all the other YouTubers that I've worked with over the last couple years to teach me how to do this whole mentoring thing online. My mentors, my graybeard investors that I get a lot of my information from, of course, and I'm really grateful for all of these things. So what I want to tell you with this video is basically we all have some issues and skeletons in our closets, and past hurts maybe, and failures and other things that we're just having a really hard time dealing with. The best way to deal with all of these things is really to just face it and face the other person that you have a disagreement with, and face your hurt and your shame and defeat. That's the only really way that you're going to move past it. Anything else is hiding, it's cowardice, it's complaining, and it's just going to eat you up inside. I mean, I really am not a medical professional, but I can see in today's society a lot of these illnesses that keep popping up, such as cancer, respiratory diseases, things that chronic pain, sleeplessness, anxiety. I don't really suffer from a lot of those, thank goodness, you know. But I think it has a lot to do with having the confidence to face your issues, and your issues first. And then when you're completely in the clear with yourself, face the other people and come into the clear with them, because that's really the only way that you're going to grow and become a better person. And once you've done all of that, you need to find a purpose in life. Now, it could be real estate investing, the stuff that I teach right here. I've gotten a lot of satisfaction, I guess, from helping you guys and giving you guys hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel of financial independence there. And that's just been my lifeline, you know. I could be doing nothing. I could just be sitting here and lulling and complaining and keep on fighting. But no, why should I? I'm not upset I was sued. It was a ludicrous lawsuit, which, by the way, was lost. Unfortunately, he's now responsible for a lot more money than he was before, which I didn't care about either way, but it just came out that way because that's the way it's calculated in terms of child support and things like that. But also I pretty much just got everything what I've asked for, and I was fine the way it was before. Now it's going to be more difficult for him, and he's the one that sued me. So I guess one last thing to add, and I wanted to make this video, is when you really want to just head on somebody, sometimes a fight is unavoidable, sometimes a war with a person is unavoidable, but before you go into any war, and I don't even, it's probably in some Chinese wisdom saying as well, and I don't know anything to quote right here, I'm just telling you from my own experience. Before you go into war with somebody, and that could mean suing somebody, just think really carefully about some of the things that could happen, kind of like a risk assessment thinking process. With me, I knew he was going to eventually do this. He threatened it many times before, he's never done it, and then finally he did it. And I knew this was going to happen. So my risk assessment for all of this basically was, I'm going to make sure that I have my money saved for my attorney. I'm going to make sure I have my attorney already picked out, and he already knows that I might be calling him to defend me. So this was all done before I was ever even sued. So I guess that's just my life advice to you with this video, is to understand there's going to be people out there that want to hurt you willingly. They don't do it by mistake or accident. They want to do it willingly. Once you understand that, It's much easier to deal with it. Also, do understand there's people there that only want good things for you as well. And have the faith in your own guts, I guess, in the fact that you know who belongs to what category. So don't feel like you're like left standing and you don't know who's an a-hole or who is a nice person. You know this right in your gut from the get-go. Try to communicate with people, of course, and there's always a way to hopefully anyways, there's always a way to solve something with another person through discussion and basically talking to them. Reach out to people, give them an opportunity to work things out. And if somebody decides to go into full-out war with you, remember that you have the right to, before you do any action, to assess what the outcome for you might be like, the most likely outcome and the worst and best case scenario. Think of those things, and then with that knowledge, it will be a little bit less stressful to go into these fights with people. And last but not least, if your situation is a bad one or it turns out to be a bad one, and this could be business deal or any other deal, don't fret. Spend your time, spend your thinking cap on trying to figure out how to better your situation. And don't complain. Don't waste your time on complaining. Try to find a solution. That's your goal. Try to find a better, or maybe a little bit better outcome for you or for your loved ones. But don't complain about anything in your life until you have turned over every stone, have taken every opportunity to make things better for you. Until that point, you really have, in my book, no right to complain. And that's my fluffy video for the day. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll get to some real estate stuff next. Have a great day investing. Don't forget to subscribe. Also share the videos if you find them helpful, and I look forward to hear from you.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.